Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Made My Week, a weekly show dedicated to good news, inspiring stories, uplifting information. It's a space where your nervous system can rest. And today, you will be inspired, and by the end of this episode, you will feel so much better. I promise you that. That is because I have a guest whom I want to call my friend by now. His name's Leong, and I met him on TikTok. Thank you to algorithm gods yet again for matching me with the right kind of person. His content is full of wisdom, meaning, purpose. He shares his moments of gratitude, moments of joy, moments of inspiration, or lessons that he's learning from life, about life. What I learned from this conversation is that before he posts anything, he asks himself this question: would I want my kids to see it one day? And if the answer is yes, only then he posts. And I thought this is such a genius idea, and you can sense a different kind of presence in him because of that self-awareness and that self-reflection. Anyways, we talked about his journey, his process. He's sharing some tools, how he's improving his life, what he's doing, how he's approaching it. We talked about AI and how we can use it for good to create a better world for all of us. We talked about kids, elderly people, like so many good things. I'm sure everybody will find something that they can take away from this conversation. So less of me talking, please enjoy our conversation. Hi, Leong. I want to welcome you on the show. This made my week.
Good to meet you, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Likewise, I am such a huge fan of you, of your presence online. I met you through TikTok, and one of your videos when you introduced, actually, I think your TikTok, when you said that if this pops up on your page, it was meant to find you because there were no hashtags, no captions, nothing. So it was truly meant for me. And you were sharing the idea how you show up online is that you are trying to spread kindness, spread positivity, and also in this way teach your algorithm that this is the kind of information you want. And I've learned so much from you, and I've gained so much wisdom. You share these moments of gratitude, some lessons that you learn, some snippets of wisdom, and those lessons and all the content comes from everyday kind of life. So it seems very simple, but there's so much wisdom and depth beneath everything that you share. So I'm a huge fan, and it always makes my day when I see your video popping up on my screen. So thank you. And the first question that I wanted to ask you is like, how did you decide that this is exactly how you want to show up online, and how your space, online space, has been affected by what you create? So what do you see? What is on your For You page?
So that's a really good question. Well, first of all, just I'm honored at the introduction, and I have to say I'm just as big a fan of you as you indicate that you are of me, because of all the things that you're doing, and then you're trying, and the presence that you have, and this podcast of what made your week. I think that's to me is very unique. Um, the question of how do I decide this? So it's always easy to construct a story and make it sound like, this was always the plan. But that's in my life, that's never the case. And the way that I describe myself is that I'm somebody who likes to take the scenic route to a destination. I have this general idea, I want to go there, but because the world is not within my control, I work with a lot of people, and it's not just totally up to me as to where things go. You just sort of wind here and there, and being adaptable. The knowing who you are and what you want to do, but also being adaptable is really important. So where I ended up here is through a lot of experimentation, when I used to be a researcher in AI and in computing and the early technologies that was when internet started coming along, late 80s, early 90s. I left technology for quite a bit, being in health services. But last few years with COVID, and then with my children and with their education, I came back a lot to look at, what the world is like, and it's amazing. We've seen technology bloom, but and when I went back in, I thought I'll just try. And I had accounts before, but I never really posted. And then as I started posting, the it evolved to the stage when that introduction that you're talking about is an introduction to my TikTok account. Is it came through just me keep posting and then getting feedback. So algorithms on various platforms tells me this is good, this is not good, this gets views, this doesn't get view, people responding comments, and then they sort of my voice evolved. So all those are on record. So I could see the whole path as to how I got here. And the latest iteration is what the account says, is that and it become clearer and clearer that the picture just keeps crystallizing because I keep reviewing and reflecting. That's a big part of my life, reflecting. And what it's telling me is that I only put things on. The criteria is if am I happy to show this to my children? So sometimes I might veer off that, but it becomes more and more crystallized. So as I'm speaking to you now, it is that everything I say, if tomorrow my children see it, it's fine, and it's actually great. And if I have to tell my children, well, tonight I'm meeting with this person, and then they ask, oh, who is that? And then I'll tell it's Vita. So she has the channel. She actually tells people about things that makes her week, and so then that becomes my standard, and so more and more it becomes it's clear to me that I am putting things on to create a presence and to role model in a sense, but to actually be on a journey that I am happy to share with children, with my children, and people like that. And then I find that when I do that, then it's not really, I'm not performing, right? It's not content creation. They just reflection. I'm just turning on the video. Sometimes it's the I might have a stand so that I can use my hands. It's very important for me. Um, but all of the time it is just doing gratitude. So I journal a lot in the past, but now I just video journal, and they invigorate me. So they generate the sort of energy. So making 3 or 4 videos is quite easy. And so while I was doing that, then I realized actually I have a relation. I'm having this relationship with this algorithm, and it's very hard to define, but it's starting to understand who I am, and then it starts to link with other people. So it's sort of a reflection of bonding and then I start to find audience. I start to meet people, amazing people like you, and then it even engraves me. So if today I want to make 10 videos, I could make 10 videos. I just decide to do other things. So that's why I see, I look at what you're doing is that and you seem to be at an earlier phase than where I am. But if you're always clear about, this is what I want to do, and I think you're going to find a lot of people resonate with what you're talking about. Um, so anyway, that's a long answer to your
No,
question.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is
it's
beautiful. Thank you. Huh?
yeah. So the important thing to me is who I am is defined by my children, and I'm role modeling, and that involves moving away from the views. So that's a very when you're online doing creation, the views and the likes is so powerful. Is I'm
Mhm.
concerned for my children. If they in Australia, we just implemented a ban that will come in next year that you can't be on social media until you're 16. I actually agree with this.
Wow, this
So
is actually happening in Australia?
Yes, yes. So it's world leading, and how they're going to implement it. A lot of people complaining, but then a lot of parents supporting, um, and so I think it will show how it's going to happen because they've announced it a couple of days ago, so it passed through Parliament. So it is law now that's going to come in 2025, and now they're debating how you're going to do it. And they put the responsibility on the platform to say that you have to do the checks. And so there's a lot of discussion. Some people saying that doesn't really solve the problem. You're just pushing it to 16. Some people are saying that no, if you have to do that check, you have to do a check. It's a privacy invasion for everyone. So I get all of that, and things like this are always nuanced. But just standing back because I'm doing this as a parent, I I will find it very hard if 13 and they see other children all being on social media, and then they'd come home and say, "Well, why can't we do it?" And then I have to I think I will have the relationship in order to have that conversation, but I would rather have that conversation 16 as opposed to when they're 13.
Mhm.
So
Totally.
yeah,
I
yeah,
totally agree with you. Yeah, and I'm so looking forward to this movement. And I do want to talk about children, but just to move a
yeah,
step back because I want to understand you better as well. For
yeah,
all the skeptics in the world, for all the, I don't want to say negative people, but let's say stick
yeah.
with skeptics. I love what I love about your content is that you always are so intentional and that you always say that you choose to practice kindness and gratitude and goodness, that this is an effort that you actually take and make. And I
Yeah.
love that this is also your baseline, that this doesn't just happen, that you create
Yes.
it. Yeah. So can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit, like, has it always been like this for you, or has fatherhood played a huge role in how you approach the world?
Yeah, I think no, it hasn't always been like this. And I think in my videos, I do mention that there has been times in the past when it's been so low and having anxiety, depression, and not having my life properly regulated. So I'm as prone to that as anyone else, and even daily. So there's no way, even if I make so if I make 3 or 4 videos, so I make 10 videos, that's still only 10 snippets of a day, and nobody can ever have I can never say somebody that I look on the screen and say, I know this person. It feels like we know this person because they just keep popping up, but it's never a complete representation. So we do have to be intentional as to what we choose. If not, then it's random and people are going to form an impression of you. It's just whether you cultivate it or not. So it's the same for me looking at my life, is that the I can mindlessly go through the day and and hopefully something happy happens to me that triggers me being happy. But through my years, the last 10 years has been along this path to where I'm very comfortable with where I am, is that you intentionally synthesize happiness, you synthesize hope, and you synthesize the love. And because the brain can't really tell when the happiness is synthesized versus it randomly happened, and we call it natural. There's no difference. So it's something that ties in with what I understand about neuroscience, but also because of my AI research, I look at how the simulation of the brain is, and it's very similar. So the brief description of it is this: that um, every day there'll be things that happens, and what I want to do is that for a part of it, that I want to put some effort to achieve some state of happiness or state of well-being that is um, not impossible, but also not so easy that it takes no effort. Because by doing that, when the brain generates all these chemicals and moves me so that I move and I get to a state through that effort. So all those brain chemicals that allows you and I to bond, those oxytocin, some serotonin, and certainly a lot of dopamine, and then it generates adrenaline that allows us to move. All those mix only comes if you exert effort. Now, if I just sit back and I say, well, maybe Vita might make me happy today, I'll just sit back and see what she says that makes me happy. So the thing is, then I rely on you in order to be happy. So if I exert effort, then it sometimes doesn't feel that good. But if I just keep exerting it and I control my environment, and today I have my room in this way, and I make my bed and I feed my fish and stuff like that, then I may not feel good this time. But then if I do it, 10 times, sometime around 20 to 30 times, then I actually feel good because of the act. So then my happiness is from the process. That today I do this, and then today I do that. So that is totally under my control because I can't control what you say, but I can control today. I wake up in the morning, and then I do my morning routine. Then I have my lunch, and then and then so the stream of the day is totally within my control, and then generates me happiness. But that happiness is not the euphoric happiness that I have if for instance, I win a big project, or for kids, they pass the exam, and this thing, when you have a video that a lot of people comment on, it's really great, like what I have. So those are the peak moments, but I can't rely on my happiness on that peak moments, because when you have peak, then you have a drop. So I really just have this baseline happiness that runs through every day, and it's generated. It's done through, I'm going to say gratitude now, and then I'm going to eat now, and I'm going to sleep now, and so that's why I can I'm comfortable. That's the message I'm comfortable giving to my kids, that you just do this, and once you establish a unfortunately for them, they're going to change quite a few times, and mine is stable. But you exert effort, you enjoy the process, and that's where the happiness is going to come. Then while you're doing that, then you're going to have those big moments. I got into college that I really wanted to get to, and I just met this girl or boy, or whoever they choose to have as their partner in the future, and then we're going to get married, and we're going to have children, and then there'll be those ups and downs. But that's not the happiness I'm talking about. I'm talking about this baseline happiness that goes through every day. And you see me in a lot of my videos just exerting effort to create that. So video making is part of my happiness. I can totally control what that is. I control. There was a time when I was making 3 or 4, and now I'm down to about 1. But it's part of my happiness. So there's a lot of things comes together. Is part of my present to the world. It allows me to meet people like you, and it's also one message I have for my children. It's also my baseline wellness and happiness, and so they all seem to come together. So yeah, again, this so you ask questions that triggers a lot of thought in me. So that's why I get a lot of things to say.
Good. Good. This is exactly the kind of conversations I love. And I
Yeah.
love this intentionality that you have in your life. I also see it in the same kind of way, except I use different terms, I guess. I see it external and internal. So I cannot rely on the external because that's beyond my control. Whereas my internal world, what I do, how I approach things, how I stay with the reality as it is, that's totally up to me. So yeah, so instead of going out, I choose to go in, in spirituality or religion. I hear someone say that is why Buddha, in all the paintings, he's painted with his eyes closed, because he's going within, he's looking within.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect reminder for me whenever, I look at Buddha or whatever, I'm reminded to go inward and rely on this. So
and a lot of religious teaching is like that. So I grew up in Zen Buddhism when I was young, in a Chinese family in Malaysia, and now I'm a Christian. So I belong to the Uniting Church here. But I see that teaching is consistent. It's about human beings, and it's about the way that we are. This is our nature, and how we process what's happening around us. And we focus a lot more on teachings that's about the inside, because now the external environment just has so many stimulus, and so we need more time here to get ourselves grounded, and so that we can face the world. But maybe in the future, everybody's meditating, everybody's reflecting, and we all calm. Then maybe you need to think more about the outside environment. But now I completely agree with you. We need more of those, looking inward. So yes, I think it's lovely the way that you've described it.
well, speaking about intentionality, you are a founder of an organization called Lifespan Education. And I love highlighting heart-centered businesses on my show, on my videos. And your organization is one of them. Can you tell me a little bit more of what you do and what kind of reality and the world you're creating when it comes to your day job?
Yeah, so my day job's actually 2. Lifespan education is what I talk about all the time. But the one that I earn the most money from is still my aging business. So I consult to people and organizations in terms of the setup for their age care facilities or the home care business, and so that came from when I was actually a manager at the aging facility. I had a home services in Australia and also in China to do all these things. COVID changed a lot of that, where I said I need to back off from that because I need to concentrate on my family. But so there's a part of me that don't talk a lot, but it informs a lot about the way that I look at the world. So the company that I have, though, is also unusual. It came because as I got into getting back online, looking at what technology is like, and mainly because of my children's education. And at that time it was COVID, and there was home schooling, and there was needing to do homework with them, and all of that. I thought, why don't I shift away from my aging business and do education, because I used to be a university lecturer, and that, and I know how to deal with creating courses and manage education. I thought I'd do that. But at this stage, that company still has no services and has no products. So what it has is a lot of programs that currently I'm still funding, and sometime in the future I will have that products and services. It is a legal structure for allow me to do things that I can set up programs a lot easier with a company structure than if I'm just doing it by myself. So what does the lifespan education do? So it does podcasts. So I interview students from different parts of the world. It has a student forum. So at the moment we have about 60 students that it was supporting, that from about 20 different countries, not about this exactly 20 different countries from around the world. And we're on the message WhatsApp, and we talk about different subjects. There's special interest groups, and then there's students that has different interests that we support, and all of that is very much into what the core of lifespan education is to create experiences and to build communities that support students having a positive life by supporting their studies and supporting their life skills, and supporting them to develop. So all of that then is very consistent. So the TikTok that I have is officially not under the company, but it's similar. So the TikTok is about personal development, and what I see is that I'm trying to present those values and present those what I do every day, and that is consistent with how we're teaching students to do. Yeah, you do have to focus on being balanced. That you do have to make sure that you keep yourself regulated, that you have routines, so they all have a similar theme that runs through them. But there's a lot of other programs that I have in it. There's we create AI stories that tells about what the positive future that we could have with AI by managing the risks and the potential dangers with it, but also showing the possibilities of, we created this video that's generated by the AI. The story is generated by the AI, the images are generated by the AI, but it tells a story of this future where there is an AI helping an elderly person communicate and link with the worker that is supporting their services. So it interprets, it creates images that shows what the elderly person's like, and then the workers like, and so it becomes like a communication tool between them. So that's a story that we told. That, like I said, we just prompt the AI to tell the story. So it then told the story. We did some minor editing, and we asked the AI to generate the images, and then we modified it a bit. And then another one we did was a story about mental health. How we use AI, you can generate images, and you can use art therapy. So there's a lot of really experimental, interesting things that we do. The students then can get involved with them, and then they can apply it. But I want them to. I'm espousing the values that I have, and this walking and taking life and taking the scenic route, but also knowing, being intentional. That it's just not wandering off and smelling the roses and then never actually doing anything. So the way that I describe lifespan education is that it is supporting students and to thrive in their lives in the modern, complex, hyper-connected world. And it's very much the life that I lead as well. So I have an opportunity to be online, to do podcasts, to create videos, and while doing that, I'm living life. And so so that's why I hope my children might completely reject what I what I do, but that's the good thing, is that I create all this stuff and they can look at it and don't look at it. It's their choice. I do this because my dad was left a video channel. He passed away about 6 years ago, and today I'm just so grateful that he left what is a representation of his life, and it's like he's still alive. That we can see it, all of the things that, he used to inquire, so he sang a lot on those videos. Film, the times that he spent with his grandchildren. There's videos that he's put up of us, as a whole family, and the for our 80th birthday and all of that. So this, I call this our online world, including what we're creating now. This is a repository of love that never dies, because as long as it keeps going, you're going to have a channel, and then your children, your kid might decide to see it or not see it, but it is your love, and it will never die. And so I think it's great what these technologies have been able to bring to us.
This is a beautiful way to look at the world and at the future and this forever love that will exist forever. That's really cool. Yeah. Well, since you are working with youth and also you worked with elders, or you still do in the past, or consult people in many capacities, I am wondering, what is your sense? What do you think this next generation, Alpha generation, Gen X generation, what have they came to teach us? What are they
Right.
teaching us?
This will be hours if you let me speak. So
Please.
anyway, so I have the stepping back is that the reason I named my company Lifespan Education is that I've seen people that learning at the end of life, when they know that they're going to pass away in a few months' time, versus the young, when I watch my child come out of the end, firstborn, is very similar. So across the lifespan, people's way that we engage with the world, the way that we want to learn, and the way that we seek hope and love is very similar. So as when I started out, I thought that I'm going to be doing when I get to a certain stage, I'll talk to the experts and I'll talk to these celebrities, and because they would be able to tell a lot of things. But I've actually given up on all of those, because I speak more and more to students, and the more I speak to the students, the more I want to speak to the students instead of all these experts. That yes, not to discount expertise. I hope my child will master something so that they can speak expertly about a certain topic. But they teach so many things. All right. So one piece of wisdom is that they are encountering a world much more complex. So I don't know whether you remember when you were a child. This world right now is just massively complex, and they're just bombarded with all these different things. But when you speak to them and you give them an opportunity to speak, they speak with optimism. They are so hopeful that about the possibilities of what is to come, and they move. They want to take action, and there's a lot of barriers being put by adults for them to do it. But the amount of energy and the capacity for them to face all these crazy things and still be able to maintain their energy in all of that is I learned a lot from that. That I think if I was a child, if I was just back at uni or back at high school, and I'm facing all of this, I would have collapsed in a heap. So that's something to learn. Another important thing to learn from them is that I certainly learned this from my children right now. So under 10 years old, they know how to play, and play is a word that usually is associated with things that are not serious. But the essential component of play is that it is something that's low stress, where you stay in the moment, and you are that you have an intention of what you want to do, but then you're adapting to what actually happens. So children, when they get together, they sync really, really quickly. while us adults, we just have to take time because we're figuring, what about this and what about that? If a child just says, no, they just reconstruct rules in very quick way. So that capacity to play, I see, really creative people do that they're just moving really quickly because they're able to let go of what was before and then stay in the moment and then move to the next stage. So that's something to learn from children. And so watching adolescence is that amazing period when they've moved away from just purely being play. The executive function have kicked in, and so they can solve problems. And they're finding, this really, they are now very enthusiastic to use that executive function because when you use those functions, you get to do things. You get to have things like earn money, and then you get to the sidestep problems, and you get to sidestep your parents. So they're in that space where they still have that play. I'm not quite sure, they have all these new superpowers, thinking superpowers. They're not sure how to do it. So it's watching them navigate that, and it will settle when they're late 20s, early 30s, depending on the individual, but sometime around there when they all these things get settled. But it's watching the brain change and watching them navigate through that is such a joy. And us adults can learn a lot from that because we are bombarded with this massively changing world, and I see a lot of adults not being able to handle it as well as the what we call kids are handling it. We're
Totally.
rejecting things, we try to control and so yeah, so those are just some of some ones that some of the things I see that we can learn from young people today, and so
Uh,
that's why I'm enthusiastic. Yeah,
this is such a
and
beautiful.
sorry to take in again
Go
the
ahead.
and people at the end of life has this, that when they reach the end of life and they're no longer held by the all the norms and they know that they can let go, they do that. And so it's very strange that when you're really young you have that, and then at end of life you're able to let go, and then you regain this joy, and you regain that the capacity to learn and the connection to people. Now they don't care; they just want to play with a grandchild. Or and so it's quite amazing that at those ends of life. So it's just us stuck in the middle that don't have it.
Struggle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Like I was overwhelmed with emotion. Like I got teary-eyed as I was listening to you speak because I mean, for the context, we are right now 1 week after post-election in America with Trump's win,
Right.
and we in Lithuania just had also a terrible election. So everything just seems gloom and doom, and it's November
Yeah.
in Lithuania. It's so great, and it's so easy to get caught up in all of this and be fearful about the future. But actually,
Yeah.
when we pause and when we get grounded and when we look around, and especially when we look at children, there's so
Yes.
much hope and there's
Yeah.
so much optimism, as you said, and so much joy and creativity. And truly, they are the biggest teachers how to adapt, move, let go,
Yeah.
move forward, connect. Like, this answer totally made my month.
Right.
Thank you
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, no, it's great having children, and I suppose that's one of the lucky things that we have. Is we're so blessed to have them around, and yeah, to learn from them. So
Totally. Yeah. Well, for the ending, let's play futurist together. Why don't we? Because your background is in computer science. You also work with AI. So can you imagine, or maybe you already done it, I don't know. Can we just have a conversation? What do you see? What kind of role AI can play in terms of creating kinder and better world for all? And what could it potentially look like?
okay, so this one, a lot of times I try not to act as a futurist, but I'm going to actually answer your question anyway by stepping back. Yeah, and the reason I don't do it is this, my experience in technology is that it goes through this hype. It goes through a hype and then it goes through a trough, and so right now we're sort of at the other end of a hype, and we're going to drop, and it's going to fade from people's view, and then real things will develop, and then they start to seep into society. And the reason I don't answer questions like what is my prediction directly is that I am almost certain that whatever I say is going to turn out to be wrong because there's something about when the popular belief is something, it never comes true. And in the past, every time when the whole society believes in something, then it turns to something else. It's not that we're not good at accurately predicting it. It's the fact that when it becomes popular, the real work doesn't get done. So it's something about the way that humans are organized, where if everybody believes in a certain thing, then the that that the real work that needs to be done then gets done by the minority, and that minority then the 10 different paths to it, and one of them will come true. You don't know which one it is, but it's never the masses that predicts exactly what things are happening. So this one, I mean, this it may be a false impression I have, but that's what I found is going through. So when I first started my career, it was people predicted that there's Y2K will wipe out the world, right? It didn't happen. So then there was the Human Genome Project that have personalized medicine, and then and then again the same popular beliefs. It's not what really eventuate. It's sort of like that, but it doesn't eventuate. So in recent years, we have the prediction about cryptocurrency is going to take over the world. So right now it's completely faded, and underneath it, crypto will become a big part of our society, but it's just not what the masses have predicted. And so every time we'll get this. And so yes, I can make predictions, and it'll turn out to be good media clip. But what I like to teach the children is that you have a certain view of what might happen, but also be certain that your prediction is almost certain you're going to go wrong. So now, not being able to predict, then what do we do? What we know is that at the moment, this is what AI is like, and we have relationships with it, and it also mediates our relationship, and it is what we do with that moves us to the future. So at the moment, what AI is enabling us to do are things like the being able to develop our ideas very quickly. So I use ChatGPT almost every day. And what it does is that something that would take me, say, a week in order to sort out, through a few prompts, I can get to a phase where it's like my search engine, is like my drafting tool, and so many things that allows me to do that. And one of the things is, for instance, what I am able to express if when I put it through ChatGPT and I say, this is what I want to say, and then so it comes up with that, and thought that doesn't sound I think you've just gone off on the track. I want to focus on this point. So then it because it's seen my other writing before, it uses what my other writing is, and then it gives me a few drafts of how it believes that I might be able to say, and then I pick in, oh yeah, actually the I've spoken about this this 20 times out of this 2,000 videos that I have. That is a language processing. It's what we've done 30 years ago. So it allows me very quickly to retrieve information, to look at it in different ways, and then be able to put it out. So now when I put it out, though, then people like you see it, and now it affects what you're doing. So without that tool, I wouldn't be able to crystallize what I want to say as quickly, and therefore my communication with you is different. So now that ChatGPT, what I did with it now affects what you and I talk about. When so when I go back and actually think about what I want to communicate with others, I would have that, and that's just language. So it's no, I don't see it as anything mysterious. I suppose because my early career is that I just stared at this code and I programmed it and I tested it, and so I've seen a lot of these amazing things. But it is in terms of the language model, it's just language processing. In terms of its image generation, they're just image generation. They're really, really powerful tools, but they in the end just enhances what we have. And one of the things that enhances is our communication. And so I find it interesting. So something more, I suppose, more fun. You know, my children and I talk to ChatGPT a lot. We talk to Siri that has AI in it a lot as well. So they mediate all these relationships. So why I say that prediction, no individual prediction or collective prediction can get to the future is that all of these things are happening with us now, and we don't know where it's actually going to take us. And there are new things that they emerge, and my children will have ideas that they didn't have. It's not possible for me to predict what they are, and there's a whole generation that comes out of it. So what it looks like, we don't know, but it's going to be a part of our society. Some key question: is it going to be conscious? I doubt it. There will be some form of consciousness, but to me, we're at such early stages. You know, the way that I think about it is that these technologies have to go through what we went through. Is that they're going to have to create versions. So right now we just have this large thing that, say, for instance, ChatGPT is just this large thing. We're going to have different instances of it, and we have these. They try to show examples of conversations between two instances of ChatGPT, but it can't hold memory, and it can't process memory, and it doesn't have intention, and it doesn't have values. It can't act on it because it doesn't have bodies. So now just be reeling off that, that's already 5 breakthroughs similar to what ChatGPT had breakthrough. And ChatGPT took 70 years of AI research in order to get to that. So they're not going to have 5 breakthroughs anytime, you know, certainly within my lifetime. And so so I don't see anything that tells me that it's going to be conscious or sentient. But what it will be is that, you know, it's a part of it that, you know, I have this tool, and this tool sits with me and my children, and maybe as I grow old, I rely on it. So it's actually a part of me. Just like some people, their musical instruments is a part of them. Some people have prosthetic, and that's a part of their identity. So that's the way that I see it. That and I don't see it actually being separate, and we will integrate it. You know, yours and my children will just have it so natural. You know, just like unfortunately we have our phones right now. It's so much a part of our identity. But
Unfortunately.
yeah, but that's what I see. That I see what it is now. That stepping back, it is going to be a part of our society. But it will be what we do now, and what my children and your children do as to what it is. So that's my prediction. It doesn't tell an exact.
Yeah, the way you were describing it, it sounds like AI is at the stage of a baby brain. It
Mhm.
just kind of gathers everything, but as you said, it cannot really store up memory, it cannot act on it, it doesn't have a body. It's just like a baby right now. It's learning, but it can't
Yeah,
really do anything with the
yeah.
information. Just,
But
yeah, not too much.
yeah, I think the thing is we assume that because it has these human-like features, that it's going to develop the way that a human does. Well, if it does, even if it does, it now has to go through the stages of the next version of it. When they argue, what are they going to do? If they create a children, you know, they're going to have to take care of children, and they're going to have to learn from humans how to how to take care of children, and the rate in which they learn. So you and I, you know, we're talking, and you know, we talk for an hour, and a lot of things happen between yours and my brain. And and is it possible for that to be condensed down to, you know, the 5 seconds? If you condense down to 5 seconds, are you really learning? No, if we had that. So we've had education now for so long. If we could condense it, and education has always been that children, you need about that 18 to 20 before you can consider them the adult. And even then, it needs to be pushed forward. And that's because it takes time for that to assimilate into this circuitry, this amazing circuitry that we have in our brain. And one day's experience cannot just be reduced down to, you know, 3 videos that you can feed to an AI and they will get a sense of it. So that's why its evolution is different now from ours. But it will be, to me, it looks quite obvious it will be integrated, because that's the point of technology. It gets integrated into our lives, and then it evolves with us.
So if I would ask you a suggestion based on your personal experience and your education, what would you suggest how we can together co-create with AI a better reality for all of us?
Right. Okay. So this one I have very definite ideas about because of AI has been now around now for a couple of years. The breakthroughs have been around for a couple of years. So it's obvious that the things that we need to deal with is the when it goes into hallucination, that it speaks as it is giving you solutions as if it knows when and really it doesn't. So that's dealing with those things. So the risk of misinformation, the risk of it making decision of its own, the risk of the bad actors, human beings, using those tools in very malicious ways. So those are the things that we need to deal with. Now, for us, using it day by day, it is those things that now being clear that it is really quite bad at holding memory. And if it was, the billions of dollars being poured into this, if the last couple of years they could have solved this, they would have solved it. So this still takes some time. So that kind of hold memory is totally unclear how to hold values and intentions and human qualities like hope and love. And again, these are things that I worked on 30 years ago, this common sense knowledge. How do you represent common sense knowledge? So it's no better now. So being clear, then human beings, that's what I do. So when I use language tools in order to draft, that's what I'm concentrating on. That is dealing with the English. So its English is way, way better than mine, but it has no intention, so it doesn't know what it's supposed to write. So it can correct my grammar, and it correct that very quickly and give me 3 drafts. But my thing is that when it's my turn in part of this conversation, in order to draft, say, a message, is that what is it I'm trying to reach? There are people that are listening. What am I trying to say? Is it for young children? What is the memory that is triggering for me? This example, when I know that I've fed it all of my previous writings, that it doesn't know which one is important and which one isn't important. Is the recent one important? Is this particular one important? I have to be one that determines it. So it gives us the opportunity to focus more on what is human about us. And it has informed my video making, that when I put out those videos and I'm making those videos, I'm thinking, could ChatGPT generate this? And if it can generate it, then probably I haven't focused on the right things. And so at some stage, I hope that there will be so some people find it weird for me to say this, so I'll say it very carefully. I hope that there is a ChatGPT, a GPT version of me that can answer those basic questions. If you ask about hope, what do you say? And it will then pick up all of the stuff that I've written and then come up with something that sounds original, but really isn't. It's just an amalgamation language-wise of what I have. But the thing is, hopefully when they start, I'm ahead. I've now thought of deeper things and more things about what Leong is, so that this version just happens to be something that is useful for people. If they want to find out about HK, if they want to find out about how to do gratitude journaling, they can get it from that. But if they talk to me, you get something more, and I get to keep moving like that. So I put a lot of things out there. I thought about writing books before in the past, but now I've stopped doing that because I think I like to just keep moving ahead. So if I amalgamate all of my videos, there's probably a book in there somewhere, and probably a language model can generate that. But I'm more interested in just exploring my humanity and exploring it with my family and with my children, and that's the exciting part. So maybe someday somebody would generate some GPT and decide to write my book, and I'll be
Mhm.
happy.
Yeah, humanity is truly irreplaceable, and that is the exciting part, I think. Yeah, perhaps
Yeah.
this is the lesson that AI is here to teach us. Humanity is
Yes.
irreplaceable. This is what we should be focusing on. And it's a proof, like, by the way, how I feel right now. I feel so nourished by this conversation and by connecting with you. I feel so much gratitude right now in me. I've learned so much from our chat. So thank you so, so much. I'm sure your children will be so, so happy and pleased and proud rewatching this video at some point later in their life.
Yep. I hope
Yeah,
so. Well,
thank you.
thank you for having me in this conversation. So, now in this case, to allow me to expand a lot of the thoughts, and it feels like I'm actually doing reflection and a reflection journal, and while the just coming from your prompts, because most times in normal conversations, the I won't go down on a long path like this. So I appreciate you letting me think, which is a big part of something that I enjoy. And I hope that people listening to this do find some use for it. But I hope
Mm.
that they will grow out of it and realize just how amazing they are as human beings.
What a perfect way to end. Thank you so, so much. And my final question before I let you go, well, two
Yeah.
actually,
Okay. Yeah.
where people can find you online. So can you share your name?
Right. Okay. So if they want to look for me, they can look for Leong Hiew, Leonghiew. And if they look for lifespan education, that's quite a unique name. They will find that. And then also in answer to your question, I am not concerned about people finding me because the way that things are interconnected right now, if my stuff is appropriate for them and they've watched this video, it will show up to them. So that's my level of confidence in the information infrastructure that we have. So just wait for things to pop up on your.
Yeah, and they will, I'm sure. And final question that I have, what made your week?
Right. So what made my week is today. Today's World Kindness Day. So I had a ribbon sharing with a lot of people on the streets outside my church. So that has made my week because it allows people to express their gratitude and share kindness. When most days they've just walked with their head down, it's the middle of a busy street in the Brisbane city. So that made my week.
Mm, beautiful. Thank you so much. And because of you, I learned that today is the World Kindness Day. So November 13th, everybody. So just it is the World Kindness Day.
Yes, that's right.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your time, your space together with me today. I am grateful and I look forward to seeing you pop up on my screen whenever I open my TikTok or whatever, YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Liam. Bye.